It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Yeah, baby. They actually won one in a shootout. Unbelievable. I guess I was a little quick on writing Alex Texier's obituary. He was pretty strong tonight. Friggy even got a shift. He was one of the 6 forwards used in the overtime, so Marty obviously liked his game too. And then even gave him a friggin' shot in the shootout. But yeah, that was huge. 2 points. Needed to bounce back after the last one. The team tightened up defensively. They were a lot stronger away from the puck tonight. The D was better. Really solid game from the forward group. Marty said that he was going to start giving Demidov more ice time. Well, like almost 20 minutes. Kapanen had his he hit the 20-minute mark tonight for the first time in his career. So that was nice to see. I mean, those guys right now, they're clearly the second best line on the team. So give them the ice time, right? I thought they deserved it. Liam's showed up here. I'll bring him on in a minute, and Rick will be joining us as well. Dobie, better game. Obviously, a nice bounce back from him. Be nice to see a goalie have 2 straight good games, but hey, baby steps, right? Monty, his second last game was good. Dobie, good. Comrie kept them in it. Like he was really, the Canadians, they didn't have a pile of shots tonight, but quality chances. And Comrie, he's got great pads. Made some super saves tonight, and I thought Montreal could easily had 3 or 4. Demidov was really rolling. Texier, as I say, he really surprised me. Hey, that's why I'm in the cheap seats, and Marty and company are, they obviously saw some stuff that I didn't in Texier's first few games. But I mean, hey, when you go from playing with Veleno to playing with Kapanen and Demidov, you're probably going to look better too, right? But no, I thought a lot better effort from Texier tonight, and I would say that you got to keep him on that line for now. Bolduc getting the demotion made sense. Slaf back up on the first. He earned it. But let's bring in the lads here and see their thoughts on it. Rick, you ready to go? There he is. Liam,
boys,
what do you think of that winning in the shootout? Like, I thought, we're doomed again, eh? Just seems like, when's the last time they won the game in a shootout? It seems like it's been years. But and I also, I find it booing. Just my history. You'd have a lot better idea about this than me, Liam. But I mean, my first recollections were Bobby Orr getting booed whenever he'd carry the puck, and it was only because he was the best player in the world, I think. But he'd burn them most of the time in the regular season. They'd boo him, and then he'd score 3 points. But from what I recall, a lot of the times it seems like the guy gets booed ends up burning the Habs. And Scheifele had the goal, right? And then it's a shootout, and I'm thinking he's going to score, because it seems like the boo karma always ends up biting the Habs in the ass. Anyway, what do you think of what do you think of that match here?
Well, elated with the win. It was you could see at different times for sure they made some unforced errors that may have been a byproduct of having a real intense game last night, despite the fact they got walked pretty good by the Sens. But they stuck with it tonight. 2 desperate teams. That's really what it looked like to me. Winnipeg trying to bounce back after a players only meeting and the loss to Buffalo and the Habs trying not to get another losing streak going and just stay in the thick of it there in that nut bar Atlantic division. So it's a great win. Great shot by Cole, obviously, in the shootout. Dobie, bounce back game. Grant, like you said, huge bounce back game. We need some goaltending right now more than ever just to give us a chance. And with the 4 guys out of the lineup, 3 out of the 4 anyway, pretty key. And Laine, notwithstanding what he did when he started last year. Overall, though, boys, for me, very happy with the 2 points. And, a lot of good performances tonight. A lot that left a lot to be desired, but that's okay. We'll take the 2 and run and get ready for the Leafs.
There you go. Yeah. Whose jersey you got on there, Liam?
This is actually a generic number 12 with number 12 with the C. So
so Captain Liam. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or not.
Okay. No, it's a Habs jersey though?
Yeah, it's a Montreal jersey. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good stuff. Nice.
Yeah, like that.
Right on. And well, Rick, you texted me before the game and said, "Frig, Texier's on the Kapanen line. That sucks." And I thought, yeah, I think so too. And then, hey, what do we know, eh?
Yeah, we got it wrong on that one. He played well. I think sometimes the results could be the most important things, but sometimes it's the process. And what I appreciate about tonight's game is that the players did like some of the players that really played some bad games in the last few days came back and did what they did well, right? I mean, Anderson is Anderson. He was not going to be a creative player, but I think he had the most amount of body checks. He worked hard along the boards. Evans focused on his defense better. He did that well. Jakai played a simple but effective game, got the team going, maybe with a little bit of a scrap in the first period. Dobesh made the saves he needed to save. It's like everybody focused on what they had to do to be successful, and the results came after that. There was not that desperation to do 47 things. And even Texier, he's a pretty good skater. He moves well. He's better off playing with pace than going in the corners, and that's what he did today. He skated with Kapanen and Demidov. He was involved in the play that way. So everybody did what they had to do to be successful, and the end result was a solid game for the Habs. That I think the score doesn't really dictate how the game went. I mean, Montreal could have had 5-6 goals, as you said.
Yeah.
They were they really had some opportunities, and
Rick,
it was a much needed win.
Try to check your mic there. You don't sound very good, so see if you can get that rectified, if you don't mind. Well, let's have a quick look at some stats. 20 minutes for Kapanen tonight. Definitely the first time he's ever hit 20 minutes. Even had more time on ice than Suzuki. Wow, he led all forwards on the Habs in ice time.
Wow.
20:07. And Marty said, gonna get Ivan Demidov, need to get him more ice time. 19:29 tonight, folks. Pretty good. Veleno was 80% in the face-off. Maybe that explains a bit more why he took that draw with 3 seconds left, which I found kind of interesting. Did you notice? Looked like Evans wasn't real happy about that. He was talking to Marty on the bench, and then nope, yeah. Veleno's going out. Not. I don't know if it was about that or what they were talking about, but Veleno went out to hey, 80% on the draws. You go with the hot hand. I found it interesting that Texier, who has no goals this year, shot in the shootout, but they were saying he's 4 for 6 lifetime. So, they've got stats that we don't, and he had a good game. I thought he cycled the puck fairly well tonight. He was a little braver than the last one. That's what kind of bothered me about the last game. There was a pull up or two where he didn't look like he was too anxious to get hit. But tonight, he seemed to click. He seemed to find instant chemistry with those two. That was the best line on the ice tonight, I thought. What do you think, Liam?
Yeah, you could make that case. It was kind of a 1 and a 1A. I'd say it was fairly close.
Okay. Yep.
He did play well. Definitely his best game in a Montreal uniform. There's no doubt about it. And as you say, you've alluded to it a couple of times, Grant. You know, we don't see obviously behind the scenes, and then they would have been checking up probably on his shootout record. They see him at practice. I know a lot of practices, not maybe the majority, but quite a few of them over the course of the season. They will do shootouts. So they have a bit of an idea for sure, or a really good idea that a lot of us just wouldn't, not being at the skates and things of that nature. And so, you know, he made a good move there. It was a good save by Connery. He was brilliant all night. Rick touched on it, man. We could have had 5 or 6 tonight with a little bit better finish around the net, but I thought he played well. And you know, it was interesting to see him up in that second line when he started. I had the same feeling you guys did. Oh, what the hell is going on? But you know what? I mean, man, oh man, Demi's. It's just hard to believe the guy's 19. You know.
Yeah.
I was so happy to see his minutes up too. I know we're speaking for millions who would feel that way, and I think Marty's aware of it too. Maybe subconsciously, he doesn't realize maybe sometimes where it is in the game, sort of thing. But it's good to get him out there a little bit more. There's no doubt about it. I think he's proving he can handle it to a certain degree, anyway. And it just and we erased 2 leads tonight too. So just a lot of really good things, despite some really bad turnovers and some sloppy play, passing to open lanes and things of that nature. I thought, oh boy, you know, such a hard-fought, emotional game last night in terms of the score. It was physical. I think it was more physical tonight, to be honest. But still tough on a back-to-back to do that, and good on Montreal. Great 2 points.
Yeah, that goal there where well, he didn't lose the stick. He handed it to the defenseman. You know, from where we were, I sure as hell couldn't see the puck. I tweeted out that you know, the ref must have X-ray eyes, but from his standpoint, obviously he could still see the puck there. It looked like there was about 8 guys piled on top of it. And why aren't they blowing the friggin' whistle here? And then it kept going. And I thought Slav might get a penalty on that hit to Morrissey along the boards there.
Possible too.
You know, he crunched him pretty good, but then they scored on it, and you know, Slav running around for a minute without a stick. I often wonder, Rick, what's your take on a guy with no stick? And you know, the bench, if their bench would have been the closest one, then I think for sure at some point you gotta go and get a stick or get off. But would you go get a stick, or do you think it's the best to run around without a stick for a minute?
No, I never understood why you don't just go get a stick. I mean, you're going to be gone, even if the bench is away from you. You're going to be gone 6, 7, 8 seconds, something like that. Like, it's not really a lot of time, right?
Yeah,
it's nothing.
Not even.
Yeah.
And if you're even lucky, you could go grab a stick and they could clear it, and then you're on a breakaway suddenly, right?
Yeah.
If you want to get technical about it. But no, really, go grab that stick, because you can't do much without it unless you're engaging physically with the player, which is hard to do when you're without a stick because you're shorthanded. So you kind of have to play your position, but you got to play your position without a stick. I never understood that. I always thought that the player should get off the ice or go grab a stick and get back in the play after.
But they rarely do. And you'd think that'd be something that teams, you know, talk about, and the coaches would say, look, come back to the bench. But obviously they don't, because it seems like no teams, it's rare that you see the guy just go get a stick. What's your thought on it, Liam?
I'd like to, I think we're in the same camp here, all 3 of us. I don't know why more teams don't do it. What I would do is I'd make it a directive. I would at practice say, look, here's the deal. D breaks his stick, forward gives him the stick, you hustle to the bench. Other 4 guys, you're in the penalty kill. Penalty kill. You make sure you box out. You don't worry, don't scramble, don't worry. Just get in the box. We got a guy going right there and back in less than 5 seconds, and he's back in the play. And then he can overload on wherever the puck is, get in a battle, and then hopefully you're at worst, you're chasing a cycle. At best, you'll regain possession. I totally agree. Myself personally, I would make it a directive, and I would have the guy just, if it's a D, stick back, you go. If it's a forward, you go right away and you go back. And the 4 guys are told, okay, we know He's got a broken stick. He's going to the bench. You know, it's a circle the wagon time, and go into PK mode and just batten down the hatches and try and survive 5 seconds, not like 2 minutes or a 5-on-3 or something. And you get the guy back in a few seconds and he's back in the play. You know, otherwise we see what happens tonight. And you see that quite a bit, right? I see it all the time. See it all the time in games. Guys running around, throws himself out of play. And then it's a fire drill down there, you know, and people are running everywhere and you're losing your man and everything. It's, to me, I would make it a directive for the team.
You see it when even when the bench is close, the guy, and he'll be 10 feet, 20 feet from the bench, and he won't go either get changed or get off. And I just don't understand it. Like, you can't do a hell of a lot without your stick. That, you know, it's not football. You got anyway. It'd be something that if you know, I was coaching the NHL, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. That's something that, you know, you do game situation drills and practices, and you go over stuff, and I don't know any team where the directive is that you just go. It seems like 80+% of the time the guy doesn't go get a stick, and that's one thing where I think the league, I disagree with it. But anyway, did you see Bolduc? He had less than 8 minutes of ice time tonight. He hasn't been playing great. That one time there, I thought, kind of summed up what I've seen from him this year, where I'm just not so sure about his vision, where he moved the puck into the zone when the guy was clearly out. Like, he's the only guy at the game that didn't know that he had a teammate that was inside the blue line, and he just trucked through like tunnel vision, and it comes into the zone with the friggin' puck, and it's offside. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm just not sure how well he sees the ice sometimes. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, watching him in juniors, I didn't think that was a huge problem at that level. I thought he was okay off the wing to take the game. I wonder if he's not overthinking things that just don't make any sense sometimes. Like, you can't, Marty St. Louis says this a lot. You got to play with the game that's ahead of you, what it gives you. And he never does that. It's like, if there's an angle, if there's a shot an opportunity in front of him, like, 90% sure, but there's 10% chance on the left, he's going to take the left to try to be extra cute sometimes. And it's not his game. When he was scoring with St. Louis quite a bit last year, there was no hesitation. Just go to the net, get shots off, and that's it. Not more than that. But with Montreal, and you're seeing that a little bit with Marty, I think, losing patience with him, especially when your defensive game hasn't been great either. Boy, it's been difficult for Bolduc to find a role in Montreal. Maybe that's the problem, is he hasn't have a role defined yet. Remember, like last year, right, where Marty St. Louis gave Josh Anderson a defensive responsibility, and he found his game doing that. Maybe that's what Bolduc needs, a role, a responsibility. But right now, he's not showing you anything offensively or defensively, and he's not even hitting that much anymore compared to how much he used to earlier in the season. So it's really, he's lost his game a lot, I find, in probably the last 2 weeks.
It's funny that you mentioned Anderson, because that's who I'm thinking of. Like, he's got to play, I think, a Josh Anderson style game, right? He's got a better shot than Anderson. He's capable of scoring more goals. So play that style, and I think that's where he'd be most effective. He had 60 assists his last year at junior, and it just goes to show you the difference. The step up to the pro game compared to junior. Sometimes you can have great stats, but then you get to the freaking pro game, and Kidney had 82 assists, and now he's in the ECHL, right?
Really?
But
it's true.
What are your thoughts on Bolduc, Liam?
Well, his career, he's been a half point a game guy, through his career, as brief as it's been. And we're not seeing that right now, despite a pretty good start, right? The first few games, and everybody was pretty pumped. And if you watch St. Louis last year in particular, he looked like a guy that maybe was on the verge of breaking out, doing something more. So, you know, he's coming back home, so to speak, and I think there's pressure. His game seemed to go downhill, almost matching that 5-game losing streak. I know he wasn't really quite firing on 8 cylinders prior to that, but it seemed to me like the slide kind of started during that. Maybe he's carrying a lot of weight. I'm sure all the guys are and were, but and then since then, I think Rick made a good point. It's you know, when you're slumping and when you're not doing things subconsciously and just acting and reacting, and you're thinking or you're overthinking, he's making a lot of unforced errors and a lot of plays that just are head scratchers because it's just the easy ones there and he's not making them. And I just got to hope that between Marty and the staff there, and maybe if they could string together a couple of decent games in a row, he could find his groove again if he could score one or something. But you don't have to be a rocket scientist to watch the games like we do, guys, to see how he's falling right off the cliff here right now. And boy, oh boy, if there's a better indicator than that, then his ice time tonight, I don't know what the hell it would be. So that's, you know, it's not good for him or for Montreal, but they got the W tonight despite it. And let's hope they can get him turned around.
Yeah. Brandon. Okay. Jared Davidson. Didn't see a lot of ice time again tonight. I loved that play late in the game, though, along the boards, when he won that battle. That was a really impressive play there, where you just see the jam in his game, right? And I don't know, when you sit in the stands for 3-4 games, it's got to be tough to come back in there and then you play a handful of minutes on the fourth line, and it's hard to get the legs going sometimes. But I really loved that play he made late in the game along the wall. I thought it was important to do that. Nice to see Cappy get back on the score sheet. Geez, he almost had another one the next shift there. Him and Demi are starting to connect a little more there, it looks like. Kapanen, at first period, he was the pucks were bouncing off a stick. It seemed like he couldn't handle the puck. And I thought, geez, he's not playing very well. And then got that goal, and that line kind of took off in the second period on. Slav with another one. That's 9 now. February 22nd, he scored his 9th goal last season. It took him December 22nd last year, he scored his 3rd goal of the season. And December 3rd this year, he gets his 9th. That's important for him. I think it's get rid of that second half Slav label. He's the last 10 games, I don't think anybody's been playing better on the Canadians than Slav. What are your thoughts on that, Rick?
I said earlier to my family when I was talking to them, I said, you know, it's like there's a light that went off in Slafkovsky's mind, where he's no longer a young developing player that is trying to learn the game and trying not to make any mistakes and you know, trying to play like that. Something switched that now I think he sees himself as a true NHL player that could be a factor shift after shift after shift. And now he's not trying to play with his line mates and try to keep up with them or try to complete their plays. He's trying to be the one that starts to play for his lines. He's the one who's trying to be a factor for his line. His mindset seems to be a little different now. He's not the same player he was even a few months ago. You see that swagger even around the bench. I noticed at one point he's looking around, talking to the guys around him, and you know, Slafkovsky was always a little bit of cockiness in him.
Goofy.
There's something mature about the way he's behaving now and the way he's playing. That it's a different mindset for him, and this is like that step that you take that's so important, that you're really going to start to see the Slafkovsky that we all know he's going to become very soon. I thought this is one more year of this and he's ready, but he's even going a little quicker than I thought he would. So I think he's really turning the corner now as an NHL player and as a factor shift after shift.
Yeah, it reminds me of that Looney Tunes cartoon with the two dogs, the big bulldog and hey Butch. He was like that. He used to be like that on the bench, you know. You can see he's not yapping to everybody, and they're like, shut up, they're, like where he's just immature, like just a kid, right? We got to remember he's still only 21, but yeah, you see the more serious look on his face there, and he's got that scar now too, from that skate cut that looks like it's not going away anytime soon. So it makes him look even more butch, I guess. So what are your thoughts on Slav in the last 10 or so, Liam?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Rick, you nailed it, man. It's the transformation that's happened within this season. I guess we're beyond the initial stages here now, past the quarterway point even. So it's been, even like you say, the last 10, 12 games, the halfway part of this part of the season. He's really, his game, even tonight, it really caught my eye, like half dozen times at least. Remember the time he went in the corner there, he's basically, he retrieves the puck. There's two guys around him, stick battles mostly, but he's positioning his body. He's using his body more effectively. He's got no fear. He goes right in where angels fear to tread, and he'll battle. And he's got stick skill, right? I mean, if man, oh man, look the hell out if he starts getting an idea and getting the conceptual idea of playing the bumper successfully, like those last two goals last night and tonight. I know not so much last night was really the bumper, but in that front of the net area, in that area where it's high traffic area, and you can get your stick free, you know how to handle a puck when you get it. You start scoring from there, man. And, I mean, Phil Esposito had a hell of a career doing that. And I'm not saying Slav's going to be Phil Esposito, but I mean, it has really been noticeable for me.
Yeah.
Rick, you touched on it. Grant, you obviously feel the same way. It's, I love it, man. I'll tell you, It's good stuff. And I'm really looking forward to the future to watch this guy, because I think he could do some really, really special things in the game.
Yeah. I'd settle for Tim Kerr.
Yeah. 3 straight 50s would be nice. Yeah.
I mean, he's the goal scorer on the power play now. Like, I think he must be leading the team in power play.
Tim Kerr has the all-time NHL record.
That's right.
28 power play goals, 34. And
34. Wow.
Playoff years where guys were hurt. Tim Kerr got hurt in that 87 playoff. He did not play in the final that Edmonton won in 7 games. And I'll tell you, Edmonton still may have won. They were the all-world team at that time. But that Flyer team, they with Tim Kerr and all, that would have been interesting to see.
Yeah.
But that's pretty good, Grant. Like you said, if he could become that, boy, that'd be pretty good.
But if I may also, like, I love also I agree with Liam that you're bringing up Tim Kerr, because, we kept hearing Slafkovsky is going to be the next Tkachuk, and that always bothered me because it's not his mindset. It's not his style. The Tkachuks are made differently in the way they approach the game, and they're, they could be kind of quote unquote jerks on the ice, right? Which is not really, you can't force that. It's something you have in you. And I'm happy that they're getting away from that and just having Slafkovsky be Slafkovsky. And that's the guys I talked about. I mentioned John LeClair too as an example of maybe the type of player he could become. Not using his size to be like an aggressive, mean player, but to use his size to create space, create opportunities, and take advantage of them near the crease area. Yeah.
Well, he's gonna. I think his upside is as an 80-point guy that can bring a physical style, not someone that's going out looking for fights. Before you go, Liam, I mean, we remiss not to mention that your boy Arbor got in a little bit of a dust up there. You made a point, and it's true. Arbor's not. I don't know. He's not landing a lot of. He seems to be getting off balance at times and not really landing a lot of blows in recent fights. And you mentioned that maybe he needs some tutoring from Knuckles there again. Get Big George and Knuckles out there and give him a few tips. Expand a little bit on it. Well, I mean, Lowry can handle himself. Like, I've seen him in some scraps, but he's not a pugilist per se, right? He's a big boy, so
he will fight. And he'll have his his fights per year for sure, but he's not in the sheriff's class there, and yet he first of all, he gave him the fight. He knew he had to go because of the hit, and he went, and so there's no instigator or nothing, and look, he got the W and everything, but there's two things I don't like what Arbor's doing right now, and I'll be with Chris Nyland tomorrow night, so I'll be talking to him about this literally 24 hours from now. And I don't like at different times in a fight, he's putting his head down. Like,
yeah,
what the F are you doing? Like,
he could have got clocked.
More and change that. And the other thing, and I think I may have shared this with you, Grant, but you look at the way Carrick fights on the Rangers. And again, not an enforcer by any means, just a good size, tough man who can handle himself. The guy went Olivier, for God's sakes, a few weeks ago. But when he comes in, there's nobody is getting his right arm initially. You're going to get it, but he's going to get a shot off. And when you throw that shot, you are establishing a position. Now it could be right into grabbing, and you're then at a point where, okay, where's it going from here? Have I got my left? Can I get my right free at all? And that's where Chris Nyland perfected in the Brian Curran fight in just his third or fourth year in the NHL against the Boston Bruins. I talk to Knuckles about this all the time. That's when Chris started throwing the uppercut successfully. Now, it was a little easier from him as a smaller guy. He was 6'205". He was fighting all these guys, Playfair, Ben Wilson, all these guys, Brian Curran, they're all 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". Slav is 6'4". Like, don't bend down. Use your size. Get that right shot. Get that first one in like you used to. His first 4, 5, 6 fights, he was landing that. And then you're in the battle for position of what you're going to do. And that's where I think somebody that's got to get a hold of him. And I know him and Nux have a fantastic relationship. I know he flew into Chris's golf tournament last year from Toronto for the afternoon and the evening and whatever. That's a big charitable event for somebody very close to Chris's heart in Boston, a young boy who's ironically, his name's Liam, and it's by a very life-threatening scenario. And Arbor flew in. They have a fantastic relationship, and I know Big George has been around, and he certainly know he could give you some. But Big George's a lefty, and not that matters. He obviously can tell. It's just switching hands. But I'd like to see Arbor just change his style just a little bit. But good on him. Good W. And he was celebrating a little early there. But but that's okay. He got it done, and he still got almost 14 minutes of ice time despite the fight. So he was getting lots of ice tonight. Stroob's got a lot of ice tonight. So it was good. Two really desperate teams, and I do have to go, fellas. Unfortunately, I'm on a plane in a few hours there, heading out east with the boys, and Knuckles will be there, and Screwy. I think that's the only Habs we got on this. No, Aaron Asham is coming.
Wow.
And
cool.
Who else?
Pound for pound.
Darian Hatcher, Darius Kasparaitis. Oh no, we got another one. Matthew Dandino is coming.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, Aaron Asham. Sorry, Liam. Aaron Asham, pound for pound in his day was one of the toughest guys in the league.
Ferocious fighter. And when I was he was on our Saskatchewan leg there about 6-8 weeks ago, and I was riding with him on the bus, and he went back and played senior in Newfoundland after I think only 1 year. He might have played 2, but I think he only had 1 fight. And he said, yeah, there weren't a lot of takers, but I had to straighten one guy out. But man, he's in fantastic shape. Like some of these guys, like we got Colton Orr, Darius Kasparaitis, Matthew Dandino, Aaron Asham. These guys are all in phenomenal shape.
Yeah,
it's quite something to see. The way some of these guys have stayed in shape. But
we'll
have a blast tomorrow. I think Rick Vive, Ron Duguay, we got some of the guys from the 70s and 80s are coming as well. Knuckles coaches, and we'll be riding together here for the next 4 or 5 days. So it'll be a good time.
Brett Hull won't be out there. I seen. I don't think he's played too much hockey these days.
Oh, I think he's a Twinkie shy of 320.
Yeah. All right, Liam. Have yourself a good trip, and are you gonna maybe try to finagle one of them for a interview? Or
I'm bringing my gear. I always bring my laptop. Obviously,
okay.
Grant, Riche did promise me before Christmas, so I will after when I get back. I'm going after him for sure. It's just a travel in and out. We just have so little time on these tours. Ourselves, and it's tough to take that time away from the guys because they do so much on these tours. But if I can, I certainly will. That's for sure. I'll text you anyway and let you know.
Sounds good. Thanks, Liam. And Rick, you got to get going too, I guess, right?
Yeah.
You got any
early morning also for myself tomorrow. I'm on call.
Okay. Well, thank you both of you a lot. And hey, let's hope that this is the start of a winning streak for the Habs here. Okay.
Another big game Saturday, man. Not won't be any easier, but let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Leafs.
Okay, Liam. Good seeing you. Okay.
Bye, Liam.
Okay. Thanks, Rick, and we'll see if we can't get you on for maybe post game for the next one, if you can.
Absolutely, I appreciate it very much, Grant. Have a good night,
everyone. Your mic sound a lot better there. You got her fixed up.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye. Liam Maguire and Rick Springhetti. Always a pleasure. I just saw funny, Pierre. No, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't see this. We're on the same page here. I haven't looked at any of the comments actually before like about 3 minutes ago, and I noticed, Pierre's on the same wavelength. Yeah, Timmy Kerr. I thought it was 28 goals, but I think one year he had 28 power play, and then the next like 34. It was ridiculous. Maybe it was Espo that had 28. I think he broke Espo's record, but if Slav could, I said earlier in the year, I don't know how many 30-goal seasons he's going to have, but he's starting to change my mind on that. I think he can, he starts finding the mark. I mean, garbage goals, like that's what I said earlier in the year. If he can start getting, his stick seems to get tight around the net a lot, and but it looks like he's loosening up, and he's starting to not panic when he's in front of the net and he gets the puck. He's scored some, he looks almost casual out there, like he's once they start going in for you, the confidence builds and you're not as nervous when you get the puck. Once you start getting a few, the nerves, that nervousness, I think, goes away after a while, and we're finding that with Slav. But Pierre, definitely, that was the first thing that came to mind for me was Timmy Kerr. Would be. Let's go back to the stats here again. Hits. Josh had 5. Veleno had 3. Cappy played a rugged game tonight. I liked his game. I like that little the little exchange he had with Sandberg too. He's got more, like I say, he's got more sandpaper than a lot of people are giving him credit for. He can, and I liked Gallagher back. I didn't have a chance to talk to those guys about it, but I liked Gallagher back. I thought he had a bit of a bounce back game tonight. He's better with Anderson and Evans, I think. Susie bounced back in the face-off circle. The Habs were 61% on draws tonight, and that was, I think, a big factor. Evans 73, Anderson 58, Cappy 47, but he won a couple of big ones there too. I love Kapanen getting 20 minutes. I really think his ice time's been limited a bit. For me, that that second line is the obvious the second best line, and they should be getting the ice time. Like, don't give Evans and Gallagher and Anderson more ice time than Kapanen and Debenov. I'm glad that Marty pointed it out. I think he probably was asked, and he's he's true to his word, right? He's gave him more ice time tonight, and I think it paid off. Let's see here. Daniel Lorette. Beer is always good after a win. Here's to that. Oh, that tastes good. Drum Dude. Dobie was happy. I had to rush down. I didn't see the celebration. But hey, he's an emotional guy, right? Cries when they lose. Cheers when they win. So cheers, guys. Good, really good. Over 700 here, which is great. There's 100 plus that are here right now. So leave your comments, guys. I'll get to as many as possible. It's really appreciated. By the way, Michael Whalen yesterday made a good suggestion for me to have a look at Philip Hronik, and I did that. And I'm going to post. Here's going to be another exclusive on my Patreon tomorrow. I'm going to post a video of Philip Hronik and give my 2 cents on whether I think he's somebody that the Canadians might want to target. Did a deep dive on some stats, and he's going to have to be, I think, a noticeable upgrade on Carrier for them to consider trading for him. And I'll dive into all that tomorrow with the video that I'll be putting up on my Patreon page, which, if you're a member of this YouTube channel, you'll be able to watch it if you get in touch with me. If you subscribe to the channel here, join. You'll see a little if you're here at the watching on my YouTube channel. There's a join button. You become a member. I think it's $4.49 a month or something like that. Send me an email, grant@habscast.ca, and I will gift you. It being Christmas coming up, I feel great. I'll gift you a free subscription to my Patreon page, and you'll be able to watch these videos. I posted one the other day about O'Reilly and Stamkos, and I will also post this one on Hronik. I might even have a look at Myers too, and say, have a similar thing where you say Hronik or Myers. Anyway, it was interesting watching it. Did a deep dive on some of his stats, compared him to Carrier, because he would have to be a noticeable upgrade, I think, on Carrier for the Canadians to consider doing that. Mind you, you could always maybe turn around and deal Carrier later, but anyways, I'll go into all that. I will be going into all that when I got the video done, and tomorrow I'll add some comments to it, and I'll put it up on my Patreon page. But as I say, if you haven't already joined this YouTube channel, I think we're up to 24 now, which is great. It's growing. The community is growing, and I really appreciate the support from everybody. But that 2 points was huge to get those 2 points. I'm just going to quickly. I didn't have a chance yet to look at the standings. I will do so right now. Bear with me a sec here, and we'll have a look at the live standings on FlashScore and see what we got. All right, Montreal 7th place in the East, tied. Pittsburgh, Montreal, Islanders all tied for 7th. They are 1 second in the division, man, it just bounces back and forth every frigging game, doesn't it? It's crazy. Maybe I'll take a snapshot of that and put it up. Folks can see. This is it's crazy how tight it is. I've never seen anything like it in December. That the standings are this close. But you know, Tampa right now is kind of running away with things a little bit, but geez, Boston, you know, well, they've lost 3 of their last 5, but still, they're down to 12th. You know, they've been playing way over their heads, and even still, they're freaking 12th now. Like, it just, you know, Montreal bounces back and forth from. Anyway, another win, and they can be tied for 4th in the East. So it's just crazy. I'll get this up here. Image file. Give me 2 seconds here. Here we go. And put this up. But Caps right now, they've been on a heater, 5 straight wins, right? Didn't take long. They were out of this, you know, they certainly weren't at the top, and now 5 wins in a row or more, and they're on top of the East. And Jersey's kind of slowed down, 3 straight wins. Now all of a sudden they're 5th, right? And the Habs 2 points back with a game in hand, so they can catch them next game if they can pull off a win against St. Louis. Oh, we got some teal here. What's going on, Mark? $5 contribution. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that, everybody. It's been great. My YouTube for November was up $350 over the month before, so you know, almost don't need sponsorship. Well, that's not true, but I am working on a couple. I actually got one. I got a sponsor. I got a sponsor, logsend.ca. Go check it out. He hasn't sent me the info yet. Paid for 2 months though. And Ivan Cornway got flooring from these guys. Wide plank flooring. What they do, and it's really, really cool, is they take deadheads from the Ottawa River and they cut, and the wood is just immaculate. And these are big, there's some big deadheads. So the wide plank flooring is really cool. It's just the nicest flooring that you can get. They're a company, Ivan Cornway used them, Chris Neal, Michael Blunden, former NHLer, of all, go check out logsend.ca. And if you think, you know, you'd want the highest quality, most beautiful flooring that you can find, it's these guys. And if anybody uses them, he's gonna keep advertising with me after. So anyway, that's coming. I'll be doing a spiel every day that I do a podcast with Logs End as we come along here. And thank you to Gord and Rob Black, the guy that started the company, Gord Black. He's an interesting guy. He was in my first book, The Valley Snapshots, where I profiled notable hockey players from the Ottawa Valley. He played goal for the Cornwall Royals, and you know, right around 69, 70, right after Billy Smith, and then also the St. Catharines Blackhawks. He was called up, and he was kind of like the third goalie for that famous series between St. Catharines and Quebec Ramparts, where it's the only time a series got suspended because just crazy brawl in Quebec City, and the fans, you know, going after the St. Catharines bus. And it all kind of predicated from, you know, the fact that Marcel, you know, this is at the height of the FLQ, and things were, you know, the Quebecois were getting fed up with, you know, the English dominance of Quebec, and Marcel Dion during the height of this goals plays in the OHL, and there were a lot of fans that weren't real happy about that, and that was partly why, you know, it was Lafleur against Dion, and crazy brawl on the ice. A guy got charged. Anyway, it's all in my book, and it's really interesting. But Gord told me the whole story, and he's quite a character. So anyway, Logs End. Enough about that. Let's get back to the game. But check out their website. You won't see flooring like that. And if you are, you know, in need of getting some flooring and you want to up the value of your place and buy a ton, check them out. Francois, it'll be easier for Bolduc once injured players are back. It'll be easier to shield him with players that you can trust defensively. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think you can trust Caulfield and Suzuki, and I'm not sure how effective he looked with them. But anyway, we got to keep in mind that he's 22 years old. And he's only got one season. Last year was his rookie season, and you know, really, like, he played some the year before, but there's things for him to learn yet. And I'm by no means giving up on him by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, the Canadians need him to be better. I think when Doc returns, I'd like to see Doc with Bolduc, and I think that they can get some chemistry going here once Doc's back. Although you may see Doc with Demidov and Kapanen too. That line holds a lot of promise as well, I think. Bolduc is best when he's just a sniper forecheck, but leave the puck control to others. Yeah, I agree with that. Bolduc seems to been juggled all season. That's true. Put him with two guys, keep it together. Yeah, well, maybe if he was playing better, he wouldn't get juggled around too. It's kind of it's a catch-22, right? Rum here. Hey, man, that's a new name. Beer here. Rum here, beer here. Slav is dominant. Here's to Slav. Love it. Slav might be a 40 goal scorer. Yeah, I think so. He's on pace for 28. I did the math there, Pierre, earlier. 9 and 26. Multiply the points or goals per game by 82, and it came out to 28 for me. Wouldn't be the first time I was wrong, though. Suzuki V8 engine. Thanks, my friend. 279. I get a kick out of it. It's always 279, right? They charge you GST on that when you. I really appreciate it. Suzuki V8 engine. You've been a staunch supporter, and much appreciated. Alan Rogers back. Alan, unreal at puck protection, isn't he? And the one guy went to hit him, and he was kind of off balance, and he still didn't get knocked down. You know, he's friggin'. Well, you see it. Like, I don't know if you saw that video of him doing the soccer, being goofy or whatever, but the friggin' dies on him, eh? Monster lower body, for sure. Claude Lemay's back. Good day, Claude. We'll get to a few more comments here. Imagine Markov in his prime on this team. Yeah. Gaza, Brett Hull is long past 320. I'm sure of it. Oh man, you see the size of his legs? You see an interview with him there. They're just. He's got to wear the track pants, eh? Yeah. Rock on, Liam and Rick. Bontoon, you're late. You were late to the show, were you? Yeah. Tex got a lot of love from me at the start. Absolutely. Fantastic show, Grant and all. Thanks, Gaza. Fantastic, fantastic group, all of you. Yeah, as I said, Cappy led all Canadians forwards in ice time tonight. I like it. Hey, reward the guys that are playing well, right? Cappy, they had some good chances. I thought he was getting an assist. That three-way passing play was awfully close. And then the freaking the pass by Demi the next shift, he almost had goals in back-to-back shifts. He was great. A guy that is probably panicking at the moment is Bill Zito. He traded Florida's unprotected first-round pick to Chicago. And Florida is last in the East. Unprotected, eh? Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Good. Well, hey, you can't blame them for thinking 2 straight cups. We're not. The pick's going to be, it's not going to be in the lottery. But Barkov goes down. You'll see when Tkachuk comes back. They'll probably get rolling a little better there. But yeah, it's so tight in the East this year. Chicago's Chicago's on the way back there. They've got some nice pieces, and it's too bad they didn't have more time, but we'll talk about it maybe the next time Liam and Rick are on, and Blaine and whoever. But who do you leave off of the friggin' Canadian Olympic team this year? Like, you almost have to have Bedard and Celebrini on. How can you not? But I would take them over Hagel and Point is already on the team, I think, so you can't. But Cirelli and Hagel, like, not even a question that I would take those two over those guys. And Suzuki, replaces Cirelli as far as I'm concerned. But then, Seth Jarvis, but so many guys playing well. Scheifele, has been good. Seth Jarvis has 16 goals, so he's not been bad. Tom Wilson, friggin' playing great. All these guys that are kind of on the bubble, that weren't there before, they're all playing great. So I don't know. The thing is, like Cooper, it's hard to leave guys off that Cooper coaches. And that's why I'm almost, I think for this kind of thing, you get a coach that's not in the NHL, and then there's no freaking politics, right? Because I would not have Cirelli and Hagel. No disrespect to them. Hagel's good too, but over Celebrini and Bedard, like, they're just so deserving, right? So, and they can always switch to the wing. I don't know. I'd hate to be the decision maker on the Canadian Olympic team for this group, because there's a pile of them that are in the discussion, that's for sure. Gaza, Tim Kerr was a beast in front of the net and nightmare defenseman. That dude could put the puck in the net at will almost. Yeah, well, it'd be nice if Slav became like even a fraction of that, right? Jay, hey Jay, Slav is definitely finding his body. The kid is finally turning into a man out there. It was great to get some solid goaltending. Big deuce. Wrapped up like a deuce. Well, I did talk about that at the start. You may have missed it, but it looked good. I mean, Marty felt the same, right? Because all three had the most ice time they've had this year. Like, what did Tex say have? 1756, Demidov 1929, Cappy 2007. So yeah, no, they I thought they had instant chemistry. Frederick, do you think Michael Hage should play a complete season of Laval next year? Probably. if he even comes, he might play one more year in Michigan. I don't know. Well, I mean, he'll probably have a good off season, then he'll be ready. But yeah, I think there's no rush there, especially the way Cappy's playing. He's not about to replace him, so he's not ready to play in the NHL center next year, I don't think. So give him a year in the minors. Yeah, Johnny, they didn't play together tonight, actually. 22, 21, 19, Cappy, Slav, Demidov. That's a lot of production per year on this earth. You got her, Pierre. My opinion on Hage is I'd like to see him play Laval as first line center. Yeah, well, I don't know if he'll be a first line center in Laval next year. AHL's no easy league. I don't know. He might be second, third line center, or he might start off on the wing like freaking Owen Beck playing on the wing a lot of the time. Movies to share. Starting the show with Yeah Baby while cracking a beer. Ultra alpha move there, Grant. Thank you, sir. Thank you for weighing in. Hey, just felt like the manly thing to do. Alex Gagne. Grant Monty finish as the number one goalie? Oh, I don't know. We'll see. It's too early still. Last year, right up till January, I think he sort of struggled. King Impeccable. There's a new name. Is Kyrou a top line player? I don't know if they need a Kyrou. I don't think. Thanks for the question, King. Impeccable King. Kyrou, I'm not sure there's a fit there with the Canadians. I think they need a more rugged top six skill, a guy with skill and competitiveness combination in the would be better, I think, if somebody with a little more jam to their game. No, not on a serious contender. I don't think Kyrou is a top, like a first line player. Zeph, nothing to get excited about this game. PS, do you have a beer you could lend? Yeah, right here. You want this one? Oh, I can't get it through there. Sorry, buddy. Tried. So maybe I can teleport it to you. Francois, I'm scared of Kyrou since he's been a healthy scratch, but can't say I've watched him. Yeah. Zeph ran out and the depiner is closed near my house. Well, Zeph, hit up Drum Dude there and he'll give you some indica. You'll have to substitute. Until Hage and Zarowski are in the lineup, we will struggle to make the playoffs. I don't think so. Maybe it's a good thing you got cut off the beer there, Zaffy. Oh yeah, Dad has a sawmill when I was a kid. Nothing like forest, fresh cut and dried wood. Great grains. Oh man, this Logs End, the flooring is just amazing. Like these logs, when you take them out and they cut off, they cut off the ends, obviously, and it's beautiful in the middle. It's just great wood. Imagine how fun it's going to be when Hage and Zarowski are on the team. Yeah. Slav on pace for 28 goals. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. He might hit 30 this year. Cappy reminds me of Barkov. Ooh. I get a bit of the I keep saying Patrice Bergeron. Barkov's like 6'4", he's a bigger guy, but Cappy is basically same size as Bergeron. a very, very intelligent, defensively responsible player. I put up a stat there. If you missed it, last podcast or two, only like one other guy in the last 6 years has that played center as a rookie and had over 90 seconds on the PK each game on average. With Anton Landell's the only other one that averaged at least a half a point per game. And so far, so there's been 2 rookie centers. Like, it's rare for a rookie center to come in and be a regular on the PK like Cappy has been, and it just bodes so well for the future. Because first things first, coaches want, when center comes into the league, they want him to be able. You got to be able to defend. You have to. It's the most important position up front, defensively by far, is center. So if you can't defend to a certain degree, you're not going to play center, and very few kill penalties right off the bat. So he's going to be a career penalty killer. He's going to score goals. He's going to set up goals. He's going to compete, and he's going to help a team win. I really think so. Montreal's PP is back on track, number 4 in the league, but number 3 in net power play. Okay. Montreal never allowed a goal on the power play. That's an interesting stat. Thank you, Francois. Appreciate it. I wouldn't mind Zook misses the playoffs so he can. Yeah, well, you see, that's selfish though. I want, yeah, I don't, and I see comments like that. For him, I'd like it for him, right? And there's no stats out there that say if you don't play for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and come back, you're way better than if you go to the Olympics. Because there's no correlation saying, that these guys that keep playing, and don't forget, like, it's going to be at a really high level. A lot of guys come back from that and take off after, this rest thing, that can, it can go both ways. You can get a little rusty. These guys come back and they're, they've been playing at a high level and they just keep rolling, right? A guy sits on the beach for 2 weeks and comes back. Who's to say he's going to be better? So just because, for me personally, it's such an honor for them and a thrill, and I want it for Suzuki, right? And also, I don't think Nick Suzuki could play 150 games a year and not get burned out. He's a machine. Never missed a game in the NHL, right? So personally, myself, I get the point, Bontoon, but Susie, for him, and even Caulfield too, I would like them to make the Olympics. I think Cappy's pretty much a lock, I think, for Finland now. And that will only help his career too, I think, him going to the Olympics, Finland, especially with Barkov out and KK, going into the year, KK even was a decent bet. They're not that deep at center in Finland. I think Cappy's almost a lock now, as far as I'm concerned. Laine won't be playing. Barkov won't be playing. Cappy, I think, gets a spot. Hey, he can kill penalties. He went to the World Championships 2 years ago and led Finland, was fifth in goal scoring as a 20-year-old for Finland at the World Championships. So they're well aware of Cappy, and with him having such a fabulous rookie season, I think Cappy's a virtual lock to play for Finland. Texier for France, right? Who else? Well, Slav, obviously. So there's going to be a bunch. There's going to be a few going, right? Dobson and Matheson outside chance, but doesn't sound like there's any traction for those two. Although I think Matheson would be great playing at the Olympics. He's such a good skater. He could play in a second. I think he's kind of a bit underrated and underappreciated right now, as far as I'm concerned. All right, we'll take a few more questions here. Maybe go about another 20. Oh, Drum Dude got some good sativa now too. Okay. Well, if you want to stay up for a while there, you might want to dip into the sativa, Drum Dude. More and more hockey analysts think Zurowski will be a clear level above Hage. He had a bit of a slump. Yeah, well, this hockey analyst, I don't know how many watch those guys as much as I do, but, you know, I mean, I see pretty much every Zurowski game, and for me, he's a notch above Hage at this point, but they're both very promising prospects for sure. Grant, with Seguin probably out for the year, do you think Dallas will go after Stamkos or O'Reilly? Yeah, they might. They're you know, they're in the running. And Sheldon, agree, Grant. Hey, you're in my good books, my friend. Whenever you agree with me, that's good. Beautiful feed from Demi, and Cap cashed in. Nice goal. That was a nice shot. Cappy's a sniper. He can shoot. He's got he's scored some nice goals this year. Just about all of his goals have been on good shots. And he even had one from far out there that almost went in. And then that other nice feed, and he kind of just redirected it. Didn't quite put it in, but is Zurowski taking draws lately? Yeah, he's still taking draws. Looking pretty good. Sheldon, Cappy will make team fill in. You know, I really think so too. For sure. What are give me your thoughts, folks, on what you think about which guys will be on the Olympic teams. Texier, obviously, he'll probably be the first line center on France. I don't know about Doby. For a while there, it looked like he might he was in the running for the Czechs, but small chance that Dobish gets to play. So there's a few that are going to play in it, and it just gives you more reason to watch the Olympics. It's going to be so fun, man. The next, the World Junior A Challenge is coming up here. World Juniors, Habs playing freaking 5 games a week. Then the Olympics, like, it's going to be nonstop hockey here, and every day is going to be a great day to talk hockey, isn't it, folks? Okay, if we don't get any more, I think I got pretty much. We'll go back to a few at the start here. Samurai Night, can't stay up late, but happy we won. Last night made me sad, and this one make me smile and happy. Good stuff. And by the way, I hope you enjoy the subscription I gave you to Patreon. Jeff, sorry I missed this earlier. Suzuki is not a great stick handler. That's why he has no shootout success. Needs to change his approach, skating at 1 mile an hour. He used to have face-off success. Like, he used to do quite well on the. He doesn't do that anymore, though. I think he figures that people got the book on him, but where he'd come in like that and then just put it up in the top corner as he headed to the left, put it up in the right hand corner. He hasn't tried that one in a while, but for a while he was mint on the shootouts. First time in a few matches we dominated scoring chances. Yeah, that's true. Alan, got to trust MSL. Well, there you go. You know, like Liam was saying, and I touched on it too. You know, Marty is seeing these guys every day, right? We're not. So when it comes to like shootouts and when it comes to, you know, putting Texier up on the line with, even though I thought I'd have taken him out of the lineup probably tonight, but Marty does the opposite. He promotes him and he looks like a genius. So good for him. Hey, I want Marty to look like a genius because when Marty looks like a genius, guess what? The Habs are winning, right? 817 viewing right now. That's nice numbers. I appreciate it. Well, Suzuki struggles. Yeah, Zegras is, yeah. Zegras good in the ice capades. Yeah, good lad, Dobish. Yeah, right on. Oh, there's Kevin. What's with Bulldog playing at home? Feels too much pressure. You know, that's a good point, right? It does seem that way. Comrie was definitely irritating. Oh man, those pad saves. He made some beauties. Absolute. That one where he, kicked it out and then frickin' kicked it out again. Wow. I won't defend the Evans line too much, but in regards to this line takes 40% of the team's draw. No, that's right. They are tasked with starting in the defensive zone quite a bit, and you have to take that into account with Evans, right? And hey, Evans on the faceoffs tonight was pretty beastly, right? 1-8, lost 3, so won some really important draws tonight. Good points, Francois. As always, you always have some good comments. Oh, we had a guy that wants to come on, and I'll make a point of it. Joel, was it? Anyways, I gave him a subscription, and that's the other thing too. If you'd like to come on one of the podcasts and you're a member, either YouTube channel or Patreon, join. That'd be fun. After a game, not Zeph though. Zeph, no, you're cut off, buddy. We're not going to have you on. Just like the guys that call into the post game shows on TSN or I'm just pulling your legs off. Mike Matson needs to call Shea Weber and ask him what sticks he used. Oh, frick. And the way he threw his stick down too after it broke, that was such a good chance. And then that 2-on-1, Cappy and Demi, and the friggin' Demi passed it into his feet. That looked like, I think, Cappy's good at converting those, and too bad Demi misfired on that pass, because that I had a good feeling that was going to end her right there. It's too bad. The Canadians had some dandy chances. Was tonight, yeah, the Habs won it in shootout, but I still hate the shootout. Wouldn't it? How much more exciting is, like, you hear the crowd in overtime? It's just so much more exciting than a shootout. I wish they'd expand it to 10 minutes. By the time they friggin' clean the ice and they talk and you could have 10 minutes overtime and it wouldn't take any longer than the shootout, especially when they go into 5, 6, 7, 8 shooters. That the shootout takes even longer than if you just had a 10-minute overtime. I wish that they'd expand the overtime to 10 minutes, and if it's still tied, it's a tie. Give them a friggin' tie. Nobody deserves to win games that are tied after 10 minutes of overtime because of a field goal frickin' kicking contest. There. Got that out of my system. Jakey Moore. Mike Matson needs to call. Yeah, okay, sorry. Uh, yeah. Well, Texier played well tonight. I gotta hand it to him. A little surprised, but I don't know. Demi clutches his stick a little tight on the. I thought maybe Slav would get a go. He's had some nice. He scored a couple of nice shootout goals, and I thought he might get it. Paul, sorry, Paul, I didn't get to the questions at the start here, and I should have maybe started that, but only if Nashville keeps some money at this stage. Works. Damkos is overpaid. Yeah. Missing a proven. Yeah. Andy Evans Galley line's not playing very efficient based on last season. They are the worst plus minus line of the team. Yeah, but as was pointed out there, they take all of the defensive draws, right? And invariably that's not necessarily fair to them. And I mean, it's not always Andy Evans and Galley too, right? Anderson and Evans have had cornucopia of guys playing with them this year. It hasn't just been Galley. If only Texier was not on that line. Don't know what Marty was thinking putting him on the second line. Well, no, I didn't either, but got to hand it to him. Played well. I really thought Texier fit in nicely with those two. I was surprised, but his speed brought something, and he made some nice plays. So I wasn't. Oh, I get some information from Francois and $2. I should be giving you $2 for the info. Thanks, Francois. Jack-Eye and Engstrom just sent to Laval. Well, that's no surprise to me. I think Jack-Eye, hey, you know, that game, Engstrom gets called up for a game, lit a fire under Arbor a bit, right? And but I think Arbor's played well the last couple of games, so that's fine. They can't be sitting in the stands, and Davidson gets a little longer look, right? That play he made along the boards late, I think Marty, it's little plays like that where you see the heart and the grit that he's got, right? And that he'll freaking, he'll help you win when the game's on the line, just with his determination and will. And I think he's earned a longer look, and good for him. Florian, yeah, nice. I think it was partly adrenaline based. Him having that really good first game, you get called up, parents are there, first game in the NHL, gets in a fight, gets an assist, but I still think he needs one more good year off season training, get a little quicker, come back next year a little stronger, a little more whatever, a little more grown up, a little more experience, come back. I'd also like to see him go back and start to produce again, because he hadn't been doing it in the AHL, right? Wasn't scoring goals. So go back, find his offensive confidence again. One more good off season, come back next year, more ready, and hope he's ready to finagle a spot at that point. Oh, Frederick actually beat him to it. Florian and Engstrom both sent to Laval. Yeah. And Pierre, too, before that. Do you think Florian goes back to Laval shortly? You know what, Pierre? Yeah, I think they're probably going to send him. If you're, I were to make a prediction, I would say that Florian's going back to Laval. Yeah. Eric. Hey, Eric. How much do you value attitude and work ethic when it comes to scouting and predicting draft year prospects? Ooh, that's a good question. More questions like this, guys. Well, attitude and work ethic. Work ethic is attitude, right? It's kind of the same thing. But, like when I worked with the Habs, you got a scouting book and you had different categories, and one of them was character, and that included attitude, work ethic, personality, all that stuff. If you have a good work ethic, you have a good attitude, right? So it's kind of synonymous, right? But yeah, it's a big part. If you're competitive, work your ass off, and you're smart, that goes a long way, right? As long as your skating is at least average, and you've got a little bit of puck skill, you're probably going to get drafted at some point in the draft. It's just they're very important. Marty Lapointe, it's like, I think he smarts and compete are two. Like I asked him, like, what do you value the most in a prospect? And he's hockey sense and competitiveness are very very high on his list, and I think you can see that from a lot of his picks, right? Since he's been on the scouting staff, pile of really intelligent players, but also a lot of guys that have good competitiveness. Jared Davidson's a good example of that. Oliver Kapanen, I think people are starting to see just how competitive he is too. Finally getting rid of that label, that soft label that I just thought was ridiculous. Like, I don't know what people were watching these guys that weighed in, and that became a narrative. As you can see, it's wrong. Andy Zaff. Are you ready to Zaff, Andy? Watching the difference between Dovish and Montembeault, it's glaring to me. Monty does not push off going side to side. He's either still hurt from the groin injury, or he's scared mentally to get hurt. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, that's a good description. Dobie on that goal there, the one where Slav didn't have a stick, I thought he could have come out a bit more. He usually does. He was kind of stuck back in his net a bit, and that's the other thing with Monty that I've found. He hasn't been coming out and challenging the shooters enough, and part of it, I think, is really a confidence issue with him, right? So Johnny Golden, Dovish is now 292. Well, it's nice to see him under 3. 901. Hey, under 3, over 90% save percentage. It's nice. Got to have at least one of those in your two goaltenders, right? 90 and 292. What do you think, guys? I can go a little longer if you want to let me know here. I've got another beer I haven't cracked, so you want to stick around for another 20 or so, I can do it, but let me know there with a few comments. We're up to 869 that have tuned in, so I think that's pretty cool. I almost feel guilty leaving when there's that many watching. By the way, if you're on X, hop on over YouTube, HabsCast. Join the live chat. It's great. It's a great gang. I've heard I heard they have ice problems in Italy for the Olympics. Won't be a big ice like it's supposed to be. 197 feet long. I think it was like regulation, like supposed to be 200 by 85. I think it's 85 wide, but they've discovered that it's 197. So it's 3 feet shorter than the. So it's actually smaller than the NHL rink. Hey, that might benefit Canada, right? And maybe the US at the end of the day. So I'm not that that doesn't bother me all that much. Bring it on. Drum dude Cappy has earned it. Suzuki, Caulfield, all deserved Olympics look for sure. Yeah, you know what? I haven't done the rant on what Bill Guerin said there, but I did not like that saying about defense with Caulfield. His goals against average this year when he's on the ice is 177 or something like that, and the Habs goals against average is 330. You know, when he's not on the ice, or 330 in general. So when he's not on the ice, it's probably about 4. You can say, oh well, it's all because of Suzuki, but no, everyone's got to be playing well defensively for you freaking to be that good. And I mean, it just goes to show, well, okay, if it's all Suzuki or whatever, the line's really effective because of Suzuki. Well, you know, less than 2 goals a game on a good line with him on it tells you that he can play. You know, like if he's less than 2 games going against teams like Colorado, do you think he could not play with Jack Eichel in the Olympics against Kazakhstan and not be a defensive liability? Right? Or freaking, like, you still got to get to the final. It's not till you play to the final where you play like Canada, where you might think, oh, well, maybe I don't play Caulfield, protecting a 3-2 lead or something. But up until that point, he can get you there. You still got to get there, right? Playing against Latvia, France, and stuff. You think if he was playing with Jack Eichel and I don't know, Matt Boldy, that line would get eaten up defensively against Kazakhstan because Cole Caulfield's play? I thought it was a ridiculous comment from Guerin talking about his defense and it being a worry in a tournament like this. Well, frig, come on. He flourished. You think that there was issues with Cole Caulfield's defensive play when he was playing, when him and Jack Hughes were tearing up, the U18s and won all those titles and championships and stuff? No. Frig. I'd put him out with Boldy and friggin' and Hughes, reunite the friggin' line from their U18 days and say, go tour, boys. I just it's I think it's a shot at his height, and thinking, this thought that 5'7" guy couldn't be good defensively. Well, he is. Cole has improved leaps and bounds. If you watch him, like we all do, he's not a liability defensively. He's fine. And when you bring that goal scoring and all around, how good of a playmaker has he become, right? Set up Slav again tonight. No, it's he's far from a one-trick pony, and I didn't appreciate what Guerin said there. Like, I don't know. Especially USA Hockey, they should almost not go with a freaking he's a GM of an NHL team. Well, they've got all these guys like this, the USA Hockey program. Take a guy that actually, has had these guys all the way coming up and knows these guys inside out, not a Bill freaking Guerin. He obviously doesn't know Cole Caulfield very well, making comments like that. Anyway, I hope it backfires on them and they get swamped. Carry on, Grant. Keep it going. Okay. Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on Caulfield and what Guerin said? I thought it was Cappy's still underappreciated by some in the media. Oh yeah, it takes a Snake missed on Cappy, but so did a lot of pundits. Actually, all of them, but one, pretty much. People have been slow to, yeah. Well, once in a while, this blind squirrel gets a nut. I think Snake will have to come around on. Yeah, he's being a little stubborn. I don't think you got to wait five years there, Snaker. I think he can admit that he's probably going to be more than a fourth line center on a contender. Damn, I paid for what Fred said. What'd I miss? Fred? Oh, yeah. Fred, yeah. That's right. You paid the $2. Should have been sending it to Fred. Davidson reminds me of Galley. Yeah, a bit, eh? There's a bit of Galley in him there. I agree. I would say, yeah. There's a new Calder favorite all of a sudden, Wallstead. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'll tell you. I mean, I said it at the time, and I was dumbfounded when Edmonton was picking 20th overall. I mean, every scout I knew, I had him ranked 12th, Wallstead, I think. I mean, it just was so frickin' obvious. Hey, it's fallen into your lap. There's Wallstead. He was fantastic in his draft year. Absolutely fantastic. Edmonton, 20th pick. Wallstead's on the board. What did they freaking need more than anything? And Kenny Holland, a former goalie himself, no, can't. He has this freaking tunnel vision where, no, can't draft goalies in the first round because he got burned a couple times in Detroit with it. It's funny, I was at the draft and Scotty Bowman picking my brain. So which goalie do you like? Here I am just freaking working for McKean's and Scotty Bowman, asking me who I think were the best goalies. And he was working with Detroit at the time, consulting, and I gave him but they ended up taking a goalie in the first round from Guelph. I can't remember his name now. 30th overall or something like that, but he never made it, right? So Holland having this, can't take a goalie in the first. They moved down 2 spots or 4 spots and took Xavier Bourgault instead of drafting Wallstead. And where would Edmonton be right now? They wouldn't be freaking at the bottom of the standings like they are, struggling because they don't have a goalie, and they could have freaking Wallstead in nets. And it just all of my scouting friends and that too, like, they didn't understand how can you pass on Wallstead, like they traded the pick to Minnesota, boom, they moved up, said, well, fuck, we're getting Wallstead. You don't want him? We'll take him, thank you. And now who's regretting that, right? And then Holland turns around, gets another friggin' GM job. The old recycling keeps going, right? Oh, he was part of he inherited a team with Yzerman, Lidstrom, friggin' you name it, and they won a couple of cups, so he must be 20 years ago or whatever. So he must be still a genius. He must be a genius. Anyway, the old school mentality in hockey, right? Dan Hab. Hey, Dan. Hudson was so good tonight. Yeah, he was. I really liked Cole again. I thought all the defensemen were pretty strong. Carrier was decent. He had a struggles for a few games there, but watching you from Houston, so I'm good to keep on watching. It's an hour early for me. Right on, Frederick. Yeah, there's some guys out in Winnipeg and stuff, right? Out west, so carry on. Okay, carry on, my wayward son. Hey, Eric, thanks for the question. That was a great one. I like those kinds of questions. Dan Hab, Cappy, 20 minutes tonight. Oh, I pointed that out. First thing I looked at, because I'm thinking, geez, Cappy seemed to play a lot tonight. Yeah, he did. I love it. Cappy's he looks like he's 22 years old. He's only going to keep getting better. 8 goals, that's tied for the rookie lead. When's the last time a rookie rookie center led all rookies in goals and was a regular penalty killer? Like, it's such a nice combination. There's so much upside there. I for 3-4 years, if any of you ever subscribed to my recruits website, you knew, like, when I did draft rank or prospect rankings on the Habs, Cappy was top 5 all the time, and it was the most people said, Kapanen, you got him ahead of Beck. How could you like him more than Owen Beck? And well, because I watch him a lot, and I really appreciate just how freaking smart he is away from the puck. So smart. And I remember, telling Bob Roth and in text messages and stuff a couple of years ago, so that friggin' Kapanen, man. He's of course Bob Roth didn't draft him, so you can only be so high on it when it's another draft scouting class that drafts a guy. But I've been on the Kapanen bandwagon for 3 years now. Had him as a top 5 prospect that whole time, and it's nice to see that he's making me look smart for a change. Wade Anthony, are the talented players big enough? Well, Slav is. Cappy's big enough. Demidov's got decent size. He's only going to get a bit stronger too. Suzuki's built like a tank. You see him last game, I just noticed that he ran out. Like, how often does he get knocked down? Not too often. Lower body, eh? And Caulfield too. Like, if Caulfield was 6'3", he'd weigh 240. He's a stocky guy. So it's not like any of these guys are slight. It's not, height can be a bit overrated at times. And was like as I mentioned with the Caulfield, like, was Theo Fleury poor defensively because he was 5'6"? Was Henri Richard the center for 20 years, won 11 cups, checked other teams' top lines for 20 years, and won 11 cups at 5'6"? Was he poor defensively? Dave Keown was 5'9" or 5'8", 5'9", 165 pounds. If they'd have had the Selke trophy in the 60s, him and Richard would have been winning it every year. Was he poor defensively? The answer to that question is no. And that's why I think this attitude about if you're not tall. You can't be good defensively. Marty St. Louis, 5'8", right? He's been such a good mentor for Caulfield. You just see how he's, very similar size, right? When they played, like Stocky's 5'7", Marty was 5'8", but Hall of Famer, Lady Byng winner, Hart Trophy winner, Cup winner, Art Ross Trophy winner, became 28 shorthanded goals in his career. So he was, a great penalty killer, as it turned out as time went along. So, and I do think, by the way, that Slav, his time is coming on the PK sooner rather than later. I'd like to see actually Kapanen and Slav as a PK pair as opposed to Veleno. But I think maybe they put Veleno out there as with Cappy to, if depending on where the face-off is and stuff, right? And if Kapanen gets thrown out, then they've got another face-off guy. But I think Kapanen and Slafkovsky on a PK, we're going to see it down the road, and I think they could be awesome in a couple of years, killing penalties for the Habs in Stanley Cup Finals. All right, we'll go a little longer here. Oh, geez, an hour and 46. Oh, well. Hudson was so good tonight. Yeah, I think I already said that one. Screw TSN dunces there, a bunch of mouth droolers. XPW, our soldier. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, I have some friends at TSN. What's this? Sportsnet did the podcast tonight. Caulfield's +6. How much of a liability can he be? Yeah. And their goal differential's top 3. His line this year, top 3 goal differential. So, we got 903. I guess Tony's podcast over. People are migrating. And he's off. I hope Snake has conceded to you that Cappy is a solid NHL player. I don't need to wait a few years to revisit that draft pick. He owes you a case of beer for questioning your evaluation. I don't know if he questioned my evaluation necessarily. He had his own opinion, and it happened to be different than mine. Yeah, Snake's a good egg. Doesn't surprise me from Garen would say that he's old school. Yeah. Somebody was saying he's a Trumper. I don't know. And yeah, Snake will eventually admit it. That's right. He did it with Caulfield. He did it with Hudson. So yeah, Snake's not afraid to admit when he underestimated somebody. Yeah, good point, Frederick. It's kind of like people saying Lane Hudson can't defend. They're not watching games and only assume because of his size. Exactly. Well put. I don't think I'm going to crack that second beer. Stomach's saying no. What's your go-to beverage? Hockey minds want to know. Yeah, well, I am Canadian. I know that's not, I don't know, 40 years now? I'll crack it. I just find it smooth, goes down right. I don't drink alcohol for the taste. I don't find alcohol, like, I'm not, people say, oh, the taste of this, that. I don't drink alcohol for the taste. I drink it for the buzz. And I find this goes down the smoothest anything, and I can drink more of them without it bugging me. So mostly Canadian, 40 going on 40 years now. When I first started Drinking, I drank blue actually, but then no. Once I got on to Canadian, and this is Ontario Canadian. For whatever reason, like people in Quebec probably say, "Ooh, Canadian." It tastes completely different in Quebec than it does in Ontario. I won't drink Canadian in Quebec, but in Ontario, they say it's the water or whatever. I still say that Molson should close down the, stop brewing it in Quebec and ship it from the Ontario brewery into Quebec. Their sales would double. Michael Whale, Alex Tuck, Oliver Kapanen, Ivan Demidov. Yeah, get Tuck, eh? That'd be a nice line. Nice to see people coming around to that maybe Kapanen and Demidov have a future together. Sheldon, Holland is very overrated. Good night, everyone. Okay, Sheldon. Need your beauty sleep. Thanks for dropping in. Colorado Realtor. There's a new one. Thoughts on Tex moving the first line? Okay, he was on the second line. Do you think you mean replace Slav on the first line? Colorado Realtor? No, I wouldn't do that. I would keep him for now. Keep him look good with Cappy and look good with Cappy and Demidov. So keep him there for now. Cappy plays 20 minutes and win the game. Might become the norm moving forward. I hope so. That 11-minute stuff wasn't doing it for me. Would I call up Sammy Blave? Yeah. Yeah, for that's Harmon. That's another new name. I like to see these new names come in here. And thanks for the question, Harmon. Yeah, I would call up Sammy and play him against the Leafs and the Blues, his last two teams. I think he'll have some extra motivation. He's popped goals 2 straight games in Laval. I thought he looked fine in the preseason, and was surprised actually when he got waived. So, sure, I would call up Sammy because he'll have extra motivation for those back-to-backers against, I think, against Toronto and St. Louis. Thanks for the question. Do I have an opinion on Philip Eriksson? Well, earlier in the year, my Sunday podcast with Rick, every week there for a while, my Habs prospect of the week was Philip Eriksson. Early on, he was really good. I noticed he picked up a point the other day. Lalela kind of went into a bit of a slide there. They weren't scoring a lot of goals, and Eriksson was suffering from it. But I think he's getting back on track a bit. But I'll be doing a prospect video pretty soon again on Eriksson. I haven't looked at him for a few weeks, so look for that. I'll get up a prospect video on Eriksson, but I think he's underrated. For a 6th-round pick, he was a solid pick. I don't know if there's a future there in the NHL with him. He certainly had a better year this year than Vinny Rohrer. I don't know what's going on with him. I thought he'd be making another step, but he's kind of been struggling in Zurich this year. Right now, I probably have Eriksson. They're kind of similar, similar size. There's some similarities there. They'd be close, but right now I'd have Eriksson a little ahead of Rohrer on the depth chart. But Eriksson's smart. He competes pretty hard. His skating it has improved a lot. He's a decent prospect. Now, will there ever be a spot for him in Montreal? Maybe not, given his size, but he's not as good as Lehkonen, but that sort of in that vein of player, right? A Lehkonen type. So Caulfield's been great coming back defensively, laying hits last couple of seasons. He's improved so much. Yeah, I really think so. That beer was just screaming your name to be cracked. Good job. Hey, cheers. I think Francois paid for this with all his many contributions that he's been making. Thanks, Francois. I went out Costco and got another 60-pack. Thanks to the people that have been, $2 here, $5 here, even got $10 and $20 contributions a couple times, which is crazy. When did I first know that Cappy was so good? Probably the year after he was drafted. I ranked him where 40s, about somewhere in the 40s in his draft year. So I liked him. He had got a concussion in the U18s, so kind of got knocked out, and you didn't get a full look at him at the end of the year. But what I had seen, I liked quite a bit. Ranked him in the 40s. So when the Canadians got him 60s, I thought that was a nice selection. And but then starting the next year, when I really kept an eye on him, I really came to fully appreciate just how good he was. Well, he made the World Juniors, and I think he was their first line center the next season, and you could see how good he was all around. And then the following year, he was the captain and first line center, and was excellent. They didn't have a really good team, and so his point totals didn't tell you that he was necessarily that good, but he was really good. And then took his Liga team right to he led at 19, 20 years of age, led his Liga team, led the Liga in playoff scoring. And that impressed the hell out of me. I mean, at that age, to do that in Liga, a rare thing. And then went to the World Championships and tied for 5th, with huge names. Had more goals and tied for 5th in goal scoring on a not a very good Finnish team at 20 years of age. So, I just kept seeing this kid that he was out of the limelight in North America, in Montreal, because he wasn't, you didn't get to see him that much, the World Juniors, and that was about it. But great guys, I knew how good he was defensively, but he was also doing it offensively. And to me, he looked like a consummate middle line center, 2 or 3, right? And that's what he's turned into. There's his floor is 3rd line center, and his ceiling is second. Well, on an average team, I think he could be a 1st line center in his prime, but Montreal, behind Suzuki, 2nd line center, and for now, and we'll see if somebody supplants him. But everything that he brings, a lot of successful teams with the Sam Bennett's and Anthony Cirelli and Chandler Stevenson, all these teams won cups with those guys at 2nd line center, and Kapanen, I think, can be better than all of them, to be honest with you. So we'll see, though. Yeah, that's right. They took Kidney and Kapanen back to back. I remember Kidney had a really good playoff that year, and Trevor and I had a good chat about it. Trevor was pissed when Kapanen got that concussion, because I knew that he liked him, and he wanted to get a really good look at him at the at the U18s, and then he got freaking rammed into the boards, hit his head, and got knocked out. But you know, he was really disappointed, and yeah, Kidney, you knew. I'm surprised Kidney got sent down to the ECHL, but 4 assists in 3 games there, he'll get back up. But his skating and just size, he just never quite developed. But he's turned out, as it's turned out, and as I watched them develop, you could see that Kapanen was the better pick. And again, it's a good, as Rick and I were talking about a few weeks ago, it just goes to show you that the more picks that you have in the top 60, top 90, the you know, you're not going to hit every, especially after the top 20, you're going to hit like about 50% at best on guys. I think the percentage is something like 30 in the second round on. So get multiple picks if you can, as many, you know, especially if you were trying to rebuild like Montreal was. And like, you know, you saw Mishak Struble, right? Basically picked back-to-back mid-40s. Mishak, no, didn't hit on him. Struble, yes. Mashar, Beck, Hudson, right? We'll see on Beck. Mashar doesn't look like he's going to hit. Hudson, home run, right? But if they'd only had one pick from, you know, one after picking Slav, if they'd only had one second round pick, and it was, I don't know, Beck or Meshar, well, they'd only have one player out of those 4. But now they've got 2, could very well be top 3 players picked from the entire draft, because they had 3 more cracks at it before the end of the second round. So I know Brian Wild looks at the stats and because of that says, well, you trade second round picks, you know, you trade them. But I don't know, you know, if you trust your scouting staff and they do their homework, you can get a top 5 player sometimes from the draft class, right? Like Patrice Bergeron was picked in the 50s, you know. You can go on and on. Shea Weber. There's been a lot of examples of guys picked second, even third round, right? Nick Lidstrom, I believe. Just on and on. Lucic in his prime. Well, if we end up a place where a more mature and experienced Kapanen is our 3C, yeah, it's still, people still, you know, 3C, and you know, Pierre Mondu was a 2C on a multiple cup winner, and he never scored a pile of points. It was because he was a good 2-way center. That second line slot, you want a 2-way guy, and that's exactly what Cappy is. I'm still like, I think he's a second line center on a winner. I really do, because he's exactly what other teams that win cups, like, I can go back and I can name them. Henri Richard was another one. Henri Richard wasn't a huge point getter, but he freaking checked the hell out of people, right? The second line center has to shut down other teams' lines and be really good defensively. That's the most important thing with a second line center. And I don't see like Hage, I don't see Zurowski, I don't see Beck, I don't see any of them being better defensively in the future than Cappy. So it's not the sexiest thing. Cappy may not be a 90-point scorer at your second line center, but you go back over cup winners, Cup contenders. Obviously, there's there's some exceptions with teams like Messier being second line center and stuff like that, but those were that's the exception more than it is the rule. All right, I'll answer a few more here because we 9:21. Friggin' a lot of people still tuned in. Even Drum Dude run out of sativa there. Drum Dude. Nice win tonight. Got to run almost 2 a.m. All right. East Coast. Okay, thanks, man, for staying around that late. For many years, the Habs were trading their second-round picks. And yeah, no, exactly. Timmins gets a lot of flack for his drafting record. When I was there, part-time scout, they had like 2000 between 2008 and 2011. They did not make a lot of top 90 picks. Top 80, it was like a ridiculously low amount, and it came back to hurt them. It really did. There seems to be a trend of defensive forwards ranked highly. Kapanen 21, Beck 22, Dvorsky 23, Riley 24. What separates them and gives the highest chance of success? I don't quite get the Kapanen 21, Beck 22, Dvorsky 23. Ranked highly in what regard, Eric? I'm not sure. What that means, 21, 22, 23. I haven't put the connection together. Maybe try to explain that a little more, and I'll see if I can answer that, because I'm not sure what you mean. Caulfield had some very good looks tonight, and in recent past games, with a little more luck, he could be at 20 for the season already. Yeah, I know. Maybe the Rocket Richard is not going to happen this year, but hey, draft years. I still not quite. Oh, those were the years they were drafted, you're saying? O'Reilly wasn't drafted. He was drafted quite a while ago. Oh, you don't mean Ryan O'Reilly, you mean Sam. Okay. Now I get it. That was throwing me off. Okay. So, yeah, well, Kapanen went in the 60s, so he wasn't ranked that highly. Beck, 35, again, wasn't, I wouldn't say, I mean, from 25 on, if you think you can get a guy who could be a third line center, you're and a good one, you're like, it's rare that you find a future top two center outside of the top 20. Typically they're picked, if you think, okay, this guy has second line upside, you get him top 20 or damn close to it, right? Like Hage, they moved up to 22 to get him because they thought maybe he might have second line center upside, or at least second line upside. But from 25 on, and it depends on the strength of the draft. If you think you've got a potential third line two-way center, you see them picked end of the first round on, like Boston, they got Trent Frederick at the end of the first. He didn't have much offensive upside in his draft year. You can go back, you look at Nathan Gaucher, wasn't a lot, guys did not see a lot of offensive upside there, but he was at, check you looked at him as a potential bottom 2 center. A lot of guys thought fourth line or not even at all, but we'll see with Gaucher. But you know, especially if you bring some size and a bit of grit. Nicolas Leroy was another. You know, you knew that his skating had to come, but there was bottom 2 defensive center potential there. I wouldn't say Dvorsky, defensive forward. Dvorsky, go have a look at his stats. He brings a lot more offense than his offensive potential was great. He had some great tournaments leading up to his draft year, like big numbers, and I think you'll see Dvorsky. He's got a cannon of a shot. He's just getting going here now. NHL. He got to speed up to par. He's gonna be good. Luc Robitaille, drafted round 9. Yeah, because of his skating. Luke, hey, I got to see Luke because he played in Hull. And you could see that he was a sniper, but you still, I mean, nobody could predict that he would become the goal scorer he was, but that, you know, there are some exceptions, and then people will say, oh yeah, but look at Luc Robitaille, you know. So take this guy that can't skate very well because Luc Robitaille made it. Well, you know, it's more the exception than it is the rule with guys that have skating issues in their draft year. Some of them overcome it, some of them don't. Hey, there was even concerns with Mike Bossy's skating in his draft year. So, yeah. All right, folks. Looks like folks are leaving. There's not too many questions being asked here. Up over 2 hours. Been another great show. I have to take Tina to an appointment in the morning, so I think I'm going to have to pack it in. Thanks for tuning in. As always, thanks for the support. Appreciate the, as always, Francois. Hey, you're a regular contributor. Really appreciate it. Suzuki V8 engine. Didn't have too much to say tonight, but he did say 2 for the W and 79 for Markov. Okay. That's why it was 279 that you said. All right. Well, as always, guys, the monetary compensation is highly appreciated. And Mark, of course, you know, thanks as well, buddy, as always. Okay, well, that's it, and we'll probably see you Saturday night, right? Tomorrow, I'm having on Andrew Patterson at noon. So I hope you can tune in. We'll do a live lunch at noon tomorrow. Andrew's with Winnipeg Sports Talk. Great guy. And it'll be nice to pick his brain, see what he thought of the game. Okay. Hey, Andy, no problem taking your questions, my friend. I appreciate it. Wolfie, yeah, okay, thank you. And thank you, Eric. Thanks, Francois. Mark, again, thank you as always. And no problem, Andy. Okay, have a good night. Hope to see you live lunch tomorrow. Andrew Patterson will be on with me live lunch at noon. Okay, bye for now.